Hello, and welcome to my Inspirational Ingrid channel. How is everyone? I haven't been on here for some time now. It's now the beginning of the month. I mean, it's actually the 7th of September. Can you believe that we are here already? It just seems like the other day it was the beginning of summer, right? The beginning of August. And like I said, I've not been on here every week. It feels like I'm actually doing monthly ones, like I said. And I do apologise for not coming on. But like I said, I'm kind of learning now to not just come on willy-nilly. To come on when I have a definitive word from God. And this word has been pressing on me for some time. And I feel like Jeremiah, this word is shot up in my bones. And I can't contain it anymore. It has to come out. And so, are you ready, family? Are you ready for Inspirational Ingrid to speak to you today? Because this one is actually called The Josephs Are Coming. The Josephs Are Coming, Goshen. Goshen. Yes. And so I've loved this word. And it's given me so much confirmation. And the way God has just been pressing me continually about this word. And I'm just like, I just have to get on here and do it. What am I waiting for? I just have to get on here and do it. And so, as you know, I've spoken about Joseph before many times, yeah? So Joseph is one of the children of Jacob, okay? And so Joseph found himself in the pit. He found himself in prison. And this time in prison, actually, let me go back a little bit. If you want to read about the story of Joseph, it's in Genesis chapters 37 to 50. Genesis chapter 37 to 50, and it will give you the whole story. The whole story, okay? For those of you that don't know your Bibles, go and read it. And it's in the Old Testament. Right at the beginning. Bereshit in Hebrew means in the beginning. Right at the beginning. So anyway, going back, Joseph is now in prison, okay? And so the king at the time, which is the Pharaoh, okay, he's having all these dreams, but Joseph has been gifted to interpret dreams. This is one of his gifts from God. This was one of his talents from God. He could actually interpret a dream. Have you ever had a dream that you think, what does this mean? I don't understand it. Well, Joseph would have been your man, okay? So anyway, the king of Egypt summoned now Joseph. Remember, he's in the prison. Summons him. So before he's summoned, Joseph has to be washed, shaven, head probably shaved and dressed in beautiful garments to be presented now before the Pharaoh. So once he's presented before the Pharaoh tells him his dream. And so, Joseph begins to tell him what the dream means. Now, like I said, this story, God has been pressing on me for some time. And normally God gives me 3 confirmations about a thing, about a dream, and about a story that I should do. 3 times he gives me a confirmation, and I know it's right. So I go ahead. But this word here has been more than 3 times. And you're probably thinking, Ingrid, you're meant to be obedient to God. Why has it taken you more than 3 times to speak this word? It's because this very word I've spoken before, maybe in different formats, okay? But I'm thinking, God, why do you want me to bring it back? Why is this so pressing? Why does everybody need to know about this? Well, anyway, here I am. So I'm going to deliver it. I'm going to be obedient now. Here I am. So a good couple of weeks ago now, well into August. I can't even remember if it was July, to be fair. Could have been before that. I can't remember now. This is how bad it is. I'd have to look on the picture. So basically, I was going through the forest because, I live near the forest. I was going through the forest and I saw these big cows. I mean, they were so big. They were huge, humongous cows. And I counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 cows. And not only were there cows, there were bulls. There were 7 Texas Longhorn bulls. 7 Texas Longhorn bulls, right? So I was like, okay. So I didn't take a picture of anything. I just drove past and I thought, okay. And then later on, I thought, gosh, that does remind me of the story of Joseph, 7 cows, right? Anyway, forgot about it. A couple of days later, I drive past again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Texas long haul balls again. So I'm like, okay, that's twice now I've seen them. Okay, twice. The third time I see these 7 Texas long haul balls. And I'm like, God, you're trying to tell me something. What is going on? Yeah. So when I see them now, there was no one near me. I was in my car, stopped my car, wound down the window and took a picture. Yeah, I don't know if I took a video as well because I was frightened that more cars were going to come to me. So I took a picture. And I will put this picture at the end, of my video. I'll put the pictures at the end of my video so you can actually see that I'm not lying. This is what I saw, okay? So then I started to go to the story of Joseph. Started reading about the story again about Pharaoh's dream, okay? And so, remember, in Pharaoh's dream, he saw 7 fat cows and then 7 lean, ugly cows. Okay, that's what it says in the scripture. That's what it says, not me. That's what it says in the Bible, okay? And so this is what Joseph interpreted. So if we look at Genesis chapter 41, and it's in verses 25 to 32, and this is what it says. It says, then Joseph said to Pharaoh, the dreams of Pharaoh are one of the same. God has revealed to Pharaoh what he's about to do. The 7 good cows are 7 years, and the 7 good heads of grain are 7 years. It is one of the same dream. The 7 lean, ugly cows that came after are 7 years, and so the 7 years are worthless heads of grain, scorched by the east wind. They are 7 years of famine. It is just as I said to Pharaoh. God has shown Pharaoh what he is about to do. 7 years of great abundance are coming throughout the land of Egypt, but 7 years of famine will follow them. Then all the abundance in Egypt will be forgotten, and the famine will ravage the land. The abundance in the land will not be remembered, because the famine that follows will be so severe, and that the reason that the dream was given to Pharaoh was in 2 forms now. And it's the matter that it has been firmly decided by God, and God will do it soon. Now, this is what God was pressing on me. So I'm like, okay, God, this is not Egypt. Or is this word going to happen now? Because as you know, in the book of the Bible, it tells us that we are going to have a time of famine. Okay. But before the time of famine, we'll have a time of plenty. And that time of plenty, there's something that we need to do. There's something that we need to do in the time. Because as you remember, in the book of Joseph, okay, he had to store up grain. He had to store up food for 7 years. Because in those 7 years, the land in Egypt was very prosperous under Joseph's leadership. The land was so prosperous. Everything that Joseph touched just prospered, just bloomed, just was abundant. Yeah, it was just became more and more and more. And Pharaoh was so happy with this man. He was so glad that he put Joseph in second in command, that, he said, this man is blessed. This man is blessed. And Pharaoh loved Joseph. And the people grew to love Joseph too. Remember, this was Joseph that was in prison. He's now out of prison and he's leading the whole of Egypt. He's in charge. He's in charge. So anyway, this is what God was telling them to do. So Joseph was very obedient and he started to stock up everything that he could. Yeah, cattle, herds, food from every kind. He started to store it. And he didn't just store it in Egypt. He just stored it everywhere that he could. All these towns and cities around. He stored everything up. Okay. So if we go a little bit further on, the other word that God gave me, right, was Goshen. And Goshen in the Bible means a land of plenty, a land that is green, a land that is just flush, green grass, Goshen. Goshen. This is the word, Goshen. Okay. So I'm thinking, God, okay, why Goshen? What are you telling me about Goshen? Okay. So let's have a look. In Genesis 45, verses 8 to 11, this is what it says. So then it was not you who sent me here, but God. This is what Joseph is now telling his brothers. Because if you remember, his brothers sold him. They put him in a pit, pulled him out, and sold him as a slave. This is their own brother, yeah? So Joseph's brother was so jealous of him that they sold him. They now thought he was dead, and Joseph's own father actually thought he was dead because they brought back Joseph's beautiful coat of many colours. Joseph had a coat of many colours, and the brothers brought back Joseph's coat, and it was covered in blood. And so Joseph's father now just said, oh my gosh, my son, my own beautiful son is dead. And so he mourned Joseph for so many years, so long, because he just thought he was gone. And so when the brothers had returned now for food, this is what they're doing. They're returning now for food. They didn't recognize their own brother Joseph. They did not recognize him. And they couldn't believe that was him. So when they found out it was him now, this is what Joseph says. Yeah. Genesis 45 verses 8 to 11. It says, so then it was not you who sent me here, he's saying to his brothers, but it was God. He made me father to Pharaoh, lord of this entire household of the ruler of Egypt. Now hurry back to my father and say to him, this is what your son Joseph says. God has made me lord of all Egypt. Come down to me and don't delay. You shall live in the region of Goshen and be near to me. You and your children and your grandchildren, your flocks and your herds, and all you have. I will provide for you there, because 5 years of famine are still to come. And 5 years of famine are still to come. Otherwise, you and your household and all who belong to you will become destitute. This is what Joseph told his brothers to go back to their father and tell him. It's time for the father and all his herd, all his household, to now come and live with Joseph, nearby to Joseph, in the land of Goshen. Now, the land of Goshen, as I said to you, is called the land of plenty. Because the land of Goshen is where the shepherds lived. So Joseph told Pharaoh, can my family come and live with me, but let them live in the land of Goshen? Because that's for shepherds. My family are shepherds. And so Egypt or Egyptians didn't really like shepherds. They thought they were just poor, smelly people. So they were very happy for the, Israelites to live in Goshen. It's far out in the country. We're in the town. We're in the city. We're city people who dress well. We don't need to be near all those poor shepherds. So the poor shepherds, Joseph's family, Jacob and all his brothers, went to live in this beautiful, green, plush land of Goshen. A land of plenty, a land where if you was a farmer, everything would grow big. Have you seen those farmers that have those allotments and everything goes big, massive, like foods, fruits, everything you get is just ginormous. This is what the land of Goshen was. It was a land of plenty. And the thing was, Joseph's family grew and multiplied more than anyone else in the whole land. But anyway, that's another story. But the reason why I'm talking about this Goshen is because Joseph called his family to draw near. And so the children of God also should draw near to God. Draw near. They should go to Goshen. But the beginning of my story is, or should I say what this title of this video is called? It's called The Josephs Are Coming. The Josephs are coming. So God has told me that he will appoint Josephs. And they are to build and to become prosperous and store up in a time of plenty, in a time of abundance. They are to store. They are to plan. They are to prepare. Because when the time of famine comes, those Josephs, those very Josephs that God will appoint, will be able to help the people, their people. They'll be able to help communities. They'll be able to help the nations. They are to buy acres of land and farms and store grain and food so that no one will starve. Everyone that belongs to the family of Joseph's, who belong to the lands of Goshen, will have plenty to eat. This is why God has given me the story. And so, like I said, the children of God are called to the land of Goshen. They are to draw near to those Josephs, and they are to live in that land. So in actual fact, it's almost like there's an exodus happening. There's an exodus happening for the children of God. There's an exodus happening for the Josephs. They are going out from the cities and they're going further afield now, where they have more land, more property, more places to store inside their houses and outside of their houses. These are who the Josephs and the children of God are. And so, the children of God, like I said, they will not starve. They will be provided for. And the unbelievers in this time, if God has been calling them, they will answer. And if they answer, they too will go to the land of Goshen, where there will be plenty. They too will go. But they need to answer the calling of God. And so this is what happened, because in the time of Joseph, the Egyptians, they sold everything they had just for food. Everything they had. Everything. There was nothing that they had left because they needed food. They sold everything. But the people who lived with Joseph and Joseph's family and the households and the ones that lived in that community and in that nation, they had more than enough. They had plenty. They had plenty. And so God is telling me this is a time. This is a time that we also need to know who the Josephs are and who the children of God are. And if you are an unbeliever and you're listening to this, you need to hear and listen for God's voice. Because if God is calling you, he doesn't want you to be in the land of drought. He wants you to be in the land of Goshen, in the land of plenty. Now, I'm going to tell you something why I'm on this video, why I'm on this channel again today. Yesterday, I went shopping and I put a certain amount of money into my account. But, like you do, I was being sensible and I knew how much I had and how much I wanted to spend. So, you will go down a checklist. But in actual fact, I might have added a few more things to my shopping list and I was over my shopping amount. And so I didn't have enough in my account for the shopping that I was buying. And so I went on my phone onto my app and I tried to transfer some more money onto my account. And there was no Wi-Fi. There was no signal. I couldn't transfer. And so I said to the lady, let me just walk away just for a little bit. I'm just trying to get signal. So I went a little bit away from the till. Still no signal. I went now out of the shop, out of the store. And I could see the woman waving to me. She's like, you're shopping. And I'm like, just a minute. There was still no signal. And I'm like, okay. So it's not that I didn't have the money. I had the money, but I couldn't actually add more into my account. I had no cash on me. I don't carry cash a lot anymore. And this is something that we need to learn. I had no cash. The only means that I had was on my card. Okay. And I didn't have any of my other cards with me. I just had the one. And so now I'm a little bit embarrassed. I'm a little bit hot now. Yeah, I get hot anyway. But now I'm getting a little bit hot now because I've got my shopping waiting and I've got the lady at the till. Then the lady said to me, okay, just hold on. I'll serve some other people. And I was like, yes, please. Thank you. And I went a bit further out of the store now. So I'm now walking closer to my car. So if you can imagine me with my phone and I'm backing up now, I'm like, come on. And I'm like, please, God, help me. And you have to call on God to help. And then all of a sudden I saw this little green signal on my phone and the app was coming through, spiraling through. And in the end I was like, oh, I can transfer. So I even transferred a bit more just in case. And eventually it went through. So I went back into the store, back to the till. And the lady was still finishing off serving someone else. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then she said, okay. She goes, are you ready now? And she was so nice. God bless her. She was so nice. She was so patient with me. And I said, look, I can do it now. I said, I'm so sorry. She goes, no problem, my lovely. No problem. I mean, how many people do you get like that? You know, normally you get some really, really arrogant people and they're like, oh. But she wasn't. She was just so lovely. And I thought, oh, this is only the grace of God. This is only the covering of God that is on me today, that I've been saved. I could transfer the money. I could still buy my shopping and I could still walk out of the store with, as my husband would say, with my head lifted high. That's his little saying. And so, yeah, I was saved. But what I'm trying to tell you is, this is just a few minutes of my time and I had no signal. No signal whatsoever. Yeah, no signal. So you've been watching on the news when the banks, right, have actually shut things down and your cards are not working. The bank machine, the cash machine is not working. The banks have shut down. There've been some kind of cyber security crime or something that's happened, where some hackers have got into the system and they've had to shut everything down. And sometimes even when you go into the store, even the tills are not working and your cards are not going to work anyway. So what I'm trying to tell you is, right now we are seeing a time when all this futuristic apps, technology is not actually going to work. You are not going to be able to buy food if the systems are down. You are not going to be able to buy clothes and household essentials if the system is down. You are not going to be able to buy petrol in your car or gas, like the Americans say, if the system is down. You're not going to be able to buy your baby formula milk and nappies if the system is down. What will you do? You need cash. You need cash. Sometimes, like me, if I'd had a little bit of cash, what I could have done is paid half of it by card and half of it by cash if I'd had cash in my purse. But because I'm like everybody else, we are app people, we're technology, we use our phone to snap everything. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit excited here, but it's true. My daughters, they don't use cash either. My husband always has a bit of cash. I like men, don't you? Men always have cash in their wallets, don't they? But I'm just saying, I just didn't have no cash in my purse, no cash in my handbag. I didn't even have cash in my car. Normally I have a little bit of coins and some, change, just in case. I didn't have anything, nothing. And so this could have been a very embarrassing time. I could have left that store with no shopping at all. It would have been really embarrassing. And it wasn't the case that I didn't have the money. I mean, if it was the case that I didn't have the money, that's embarrassing enough. But I had it. I just couldn't transfer it. I couldn't transfer it for the life of me. So this is what I'm trying to say, family. We need to prepare. We need to make sure that we have more than one means, in our bags, in our wallets. Maybe not just one card, 2, 3, 4 cards with money on it. And if we've got cards with money on it and the machines are still not working, we need cash and coins in our bag, in our wallets, in our purse. We need cash in our car somewhere. That when you go out, you can still access something. You can put petrol in your car. You can bring home, the essentials, bread and milk. You know what I mean? This is what we need to do. So God is reminding me, Ingrid, stop relying on the norm. Stop relying on things. You must be prepared and walk with something. Like as a mother, like me. In our handbags, we have sweets, we have tissue, we have wet wipes, we have sanitizer, we have paracetamol. As mums, there's certain things we have in our handbag. We have hand cream, spray. There's certain things we have in our handbags. And this is what God is trying to tell me. For diabetic people, they have snacks in their handbags. Because if they feel a little bit lightheaded, they know they need to eat something. This is preparation. We need to be prepared. We need to be prepared. We can't just go out of our homes unprepared. We cannot anymore. Technology is letting us down all the time. People that drive electric cars, if you can't charge your car, how far are you going to go? It's not like you can top it up with petrol unless it's hybrid. You can't do it. You're going to have to get out of your car, and walk, take the bus, get in a taxi, Don't hitchhike. Don't do that. Don't hitchhike. Don't do that. Don't get in other people's cars. But what I'm saying to you is, what are we going to do if we are not prepared? If we are not, I remember my daughter, she got her first little electric car, this little Renault Zoe, it was really cute. But you couldn't get far. I think you could only, it was one of the older ones. So I think you could only go 100 miles, 80 to 100 miles of charge. That's a real city car. You couldn't go far before you had to recharge it again. It's not like the ones today where, you got like maybe 250 miles worth you can get to. But that wouldn't take me from, London to Scotland. I couldn't get to Scotland in that charge. I'd have to charge like halfway through or something. Maybe twice I'd have to charge to actually get to Scotland. And you know how far Scotland is. But what I'm saying to you is, we need to be prepared. We really need to be prepared. So you Josephs out there, you need to start preparing. Buy extra land. Buy land that can farm, not just a little allotment. But those of you that can't afford acres, buy an allotment. If you haven't got a big garden or a garden at all, buy an allotment. Buy some farms, buy some land, plant on the land. Store up some foods. Those are the Josephs. This is what you need to do. You need to prepare because you have it. God has made you abundant. God has made you prosperous. You need to prepare for your families, your communities, and the nations around you. That's what you need to do. You Josephs. And the children of God. You need to know some Josephs. But you also need to prepare just for yourselves, whatever you can and however you can. And for you non-believers out there, if you don't believe, you only have to see what's going on in this world. You know what I'm talking about when I'm telling you the apps don't work and the cards don't work and the technology doesn't work. Some days you go to work and your systems are down. So you're like, oh, I've got free time. This is what happens. This is what's happening on a daily basis. And it's been happening for years, really. But I want you to take note of what I'm saying. I want you to take note of what God is trying to place on my heart. It's serious. It's not just something we need to take willy-nilly. We really need to take notice of the times that we are in. Sometimes things won't work. Remember, technology, robots are replacing humans. But humans are valuable because technology won't always work. So be prepared, family. Be prepared, okay? Be prepared. So that's why this video today is actually called The Josephs Are Coming and Goshen, okay? So anyway, I pray as a child of God that you are either a Joseph, and if you are a child of God, you will be drawn to the land of Goshen. Because you are children of God. All of you are children of God. And you are special, you are unique, and you are chosen. So may God continue to guide, bless, lead, protect, and direct you. May his face shine upon you. And may he give you perfect peace. So I've been on here for 30 minutes. Can you imagine? 30 minutes. Oh my goodness. So like I said, I'm going to put a picture or a video, one of them, of those 7 Texas longhorn bulls that I saw in the forest. And those very bulls are what has given me this story and this video today. And it's what God has been telling me about. So I'm just going to give you a heads up for my next story. My next story will be the Feast of Tabernacles. This is another word that God has been planting on me, but I'm going to speak about this nearer the time. So it won't be for now, but it will be in a couple of weeks, because like I said, but the reason why it's going to be in a couple of weeks, because that is the time when the Feast of the Tabernacles will happen. And I want to actually give you this this word, because it's something that a lot of us don't actually do, because we're not Jewish or anything like that, but we are children of God. So this is another word that God has been pressing on me, and I want to share it with you. So like I said, I'm going to wait for a couple of weeks, because I want it to be nearer that time. And like I said, it's going to be called the Feast of Tabernacles. So please watch out for it. So I hope you've enjoyed my video today. I'm so sorry that it's so long, but like I said, it's because I've not been coming on as regular. So when I do come on now, obviously I'm kind of building up what the Lord has been telling me week on and week out. And, you know, it's just blessed me so much. I hope it blesses you. And please, I'm not the only one that's been talking about this word. Many prophets has been talking about this word. And, you know, many of God's children has been talking about this word. And this is the word that God placed in my heart and planted on me. And so here it is. And so, family, I just want you to take care of yourselves. You know, I just pray that God blesses you always and forever. And so don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Please do. It really helps me out. So anyway, until the next one, yeah, keep safe, everyone. Keep blessed and just keep smiling. Take care of yourself. See you all soon. Bye.